is kind of funny, actually. Jeffrey got passes to the Daily Show. It was winter. And Angela knew enough not to go down there and stand in a big line in Manhattan. And Jeffrey said, "You want to come with me?" So I said, "Sure." So it was, like I said, it was cold. So we put on our old retired business guy uniform for cold weather. And we had on a blue blazer, we had gray slacks, we had button-down shirt, we had a big wool, black wool top coat, we had Irish caps, we had leather gloves, we had black shoes. We were ready to go. We didn't wear ties because we were going casual. So we got in there, and they sat us in a bunch of chairs like this, and we needed a little more cramped. And the warm-up comedian came out. He told a couple of jokes. And then he just looked at the two of us. He just looked at us. He said, "Who are you? Who are you people? Where are you from? Like Minnesota? What are you doing here? Rockland County? Where's that? Upstate, like Buffalo?" And then he looked at us and said, "What do you do? Do you up there? You farm?" Well, Jeffrey by now had it. And he said, "Well, as a matter of fact, up in Rockland County, we manufacture the oral polio vaccine at Letterly Labs." And Jeffrey thought he just nailed this guy, right? We don't farm, we make polio vaccine. The guy looked at us with horror. And of course, everybody else in this place was like 30. And he says, "People, hurry, run. These people are from a secret lab in the mountains." The whole place was in hysterics. Jeffrey and I were sitting there with red faces. John Stewart came out, and the audience was very well warmed up. Another story is what I call the calm Jeffrey. Jeffrey dragged me to a deal at the View, some kind of fundraiser, and he was emceeing a fashion show. Well, it was, one of those sort of pathetic things where, middle-aged people were pretending that they were models and gowns and tuxedos, Jeffrey, with great gusto, was introducing Dr. Big Bottom in his Joseph Abu tuxedo. And I'm sitting at this table by myself. Peg wasn't with me. And, there was like important people there. Tom Zugby, the DA, was there. I think Tess Rasso from hospice. There's all these big wigs, and then there's me. And we're sitting there, eating our salad. And then the table caught on fire. Okay, it caught on fire. And these little candles, and one of the candles lit the centerpiece. And those centerpieces made up of silk flowers and that pressed cardboard stuff. And there's flames shooting up in the air in the middle of the table. Now, all us bigwigs, we're sitting there, we have no idea what to do. We're all back from the table, we've got our napkins, and we're smacking and smacking and everything, and all we're doing is, sparks are going everywhere. Now the tabletop is on fire. Well, Jeffrey is there, and he's still talking about, and he just sort of wandered over, and he grabbed us. We didn't notice, but there was a big thing of ice water on the table, and he took it, and he poured it all in our laps. And then with a big grin, he poured it all in our laps, and then he went back to trying to make people, from ShopRite look like models. The third is, I call it how Jeffrey incredibly coped with his illness. And Bunny is my witness on this one. About a year and a half ago, Jeffrey was scheduled to do the auctioneering. As you know, he's famous for auctioneering. At Rotary, we called it re-gifting after Christmas. Came to gifts. We did an auction for Polio Plus. And just about that time, Jeffrey had the paralysis on his right side had just gotten worse. There was a little period of time there where he was having a hard time making certain sounds as he spoke. He certainly could have just said, "Guys, I'm sorry, I can't do this," but not Jeffrey. So he got up there, and I'm not going to be able to do his patter, but it was, we have $10 for this, we have $10, do I hear $20, do I hear $20, thank you, $20 in the back, do I hear $30, I got $30 over there. And he stopped, and he said, "Now, ladies and gentlemen," he said, "I'm having a little difficulty with saying 40 and 50. So there would be no 40 and no 50. You understand? Nobody can bid 40 or 50. So we have 30. Do I hear 60? And it went on like that. 130, 160, 300, 600. And we had the best auction ever with Jeffrey making the very best and actually making great light of his illness. The last is a little more serious. It's actually a moment that I had about 2 weeks ago with my wife Peggy sitting here. And we knew that Jeffrey, and this is kind of on the theme of Jeffrey was much more than met the eye. About 2 weeks ago we knew Jeffrey was going to hospice and fix it, and there's a story I think I can tell you. So what's that? Well, background, about 3 years ago I got pretty sick. It's no big deal, but at the time it was kind of scary. And in the middle of that, Peg says, she got a phone call from Jeffrey. And Jeffrey said, Peg, I know, tell me everything's okay, but let me just tell you something. If you need anything, I mean anything, here's a number I would like you to call. And he gave Peg a phone number. And he said, when you call it, nobody will answer. But just put what you need on the recording. So you don't have to worry about explaining it or anything like that. Just put what you need on the recording. And I will pick that up. I can't promise you that I'll be able to fix whatever you'd like me to fix. But I will do everything in my power to do everything I can to make the situation better. Just call me. And then he said, I've only given this number out to a few people. Well, I imagine in my heart he was more than a few. And he said, so please don't share it. And to let Peg off the hook forevermore, he said, and you and I will never speak about this again. That's it.
Joe Warner, do you want to come forward?
Good morning.
Good morning.